good tidings is, is what we'll use, I guess. Or, heyo. I gotta figure out a greeting. I haven't decided yet. I think we'll go with heyo. Hey, my fellow chipmunks. It's your girl, Extraordinary Lady. Sorry, I've been MIA for a while. A lot of stuff has been happening, and my Wi-Fi was acting up. So now that I have it working, I'm back. Well, I haven't been here that long, but whatever. I gotta get my stuff together. Anyway, today we're gonna be talking about weird experiences while existing in Ohio. Part 3, 4, maybe. Yeah. This is going to be the Subway edition. So, after my job at Panera Bread, I got a job at Subway. And they didn't live that... It wasn't that far from me, which actually wasn't that bad anyway. It actually made things a lot easier. But it also was really funny because I was about maybe 5-10 minutes late there as well. But I don't know. It was easier, and it was within walking distance, and it made things even more, like, accessible to me. So I wasn't really worried about getting home late because all I had to do was walk home. I wouldn't have to worry about the bus. And some weird stuff happened a lot there. Like this one time I was closing, or I was doing an evening shift with a coworker, and he's like in the back, I think doing inventory or whatever. And this guy comes in and he's like, you could tell something was off, and it wasn't that it was just me. It was like, you could tell something isn't right here. He comes in, he orders his food, and in my mind I'm thinking, all right, I don't know what's happening, but I'm just going to make sure that he gets his food and he can leave. So, just to see, like, I ring up his food, give him an order, tried to make conversation, but, you know, he's like muttering to himself, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to just let him do his thing, have him get his food, and then, you know, it'll be done with. So he goes to the drink station and he grabs like a bottle of Sprite or whatever. And then he flings the drink across the room at the cookie holder, like the stand, the cookie container, the container that was holding all the cookies. And it slams against there just as I was ringing up his food. And my first thought was, what in the ever-loving fudge is going on? Now, my first thought was to yell at him or, you know, try to calm him down if that would have helped, or, you know, tried to figure out what the frick just happened. But I didn't say anything. I was like, you know what? Maybe he'll let me know what's going on. The dude doesn't say anything. He keeps a straight face as he stares directly at me and then proceeds to start biting the middle of his hand. You didn't hear me say that wrong. He starts biting the middle of his hand. Now, this isn't me making fun of him at all. This is me merely telling the story from my point of view and expressing how freaking weird it was that he started biting the middle of his hand at a Subway at like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So I was like, okay. Now I'm in the mode where the dude's gotta go, but let's just see how this goes. I don't know, maybe he was gonna yell at me or curse at me or rob us. I wasn't sure what he was gonna do. All I knew was I was creeped out at the fact that A, something seemed off. B, he was throwing stuff at the objects at my job, and I was worried that he would start throwing stuff at me. And C, he was biting the middle of his hand, which goes to show that if he didn't care about his own well-being, what in the world would mean that he would care about mine? But again, left it alone. And I rang up his order, and I told him I think it was like $12 and some change. And he goes, calm as hell. Like, it was no big deal. Oh, I don't have any money. I told you I lost my job. Boy, you cannot come into a Subway, order a footlong with double meat and melted cheese and a whole bunch of other stuff, then start throwing your drinks at cookies like they did something to you personally, like you got some personal vendetta against the Subway cookies, and then proceed to act even weirder just before you pay for your food and then not have compensation to pay for said food. And then expect me to be okay with it. So I was irritated. By now, I'm irritated. I'm creeped out. I'm irritated and confused. And those are three things you should never be at a Subway, let alone at any particular job, but particularly at a Subway. So I'm at a loss here. I'm not sure if, I can't give him a footlong for free. So I tell him, I said, sir, if you can't pay for the sandwich, I cannot give you the food for free. So you may, I was honest. And still, at this point, my coworker is still in the back. And in my mind, I'm thinking, dude, what the heck are you doing in the back? How you missing all this? Like, what the hell? Like, you leaving me alone with this fuckery. Like, I don't know what to do here. So then, the guy looks at me and he goes, are you the manager? I said, no, I'm not. He goes, well, maybe you should call the manager. And I was like, okay. So just as I stepped back to just keep some distance between him, me, and the register, he reaches for the sandwich tray to snatch it, to grab it. And I grabbed it faster than he did. And I yanked it from behind me. And I was like, sir, you have to go. He goes, call the manager, call the manager. Just starts, he loses it. He's starts growling at me. It was freaking weird. And he's like, call the manager now. We don't have a manager at Subway. At this time, we never had a manager. It was just the owner and the rest of the workers, which I guess it meant that we were all disorganized, or I don't know what it meant. We just didn't have a manager. And, my coworker wasn't the manager, so I'm calling my coworker's name, yelling at the top of my lungs while this dude is glaring at me and growling at me like he's some rabid looking dog that's just ready to pounce. Like this is Cujo or some weirdness. And, or just a really high or just some mentally unstable person who can snap at any moment and attack me. All I know is at this point in time, I don't want to be alone when I get attacked. I'm making sure that if I get attacked, so is my coworker, so we can both corroborate the story of the weird messed upness of this day. So I'm calling my coworker's name over and over and over again, extremely loud. And then my coworker hears me. I'm like, can you come up to the front, please? He's like, hey, what's up? I said, this gentleman, I wanted to say this man, this creep, I went with this gentleman. Because despite all that, I still have manners enough to be as polite as I can. As creeped out as I was, I still could maintain a sense of politeness. So I said, this gentleman here ordered his food and he can't pay for it. Now he's upset. He said he wanted to talk to the manager. So I called you. He's like, sir, if you can't pay for the food, you have to go. So then he started to grab the food without paying for it. And then, he starts growling at my coworker. You need to call the police. You need to call the police now. He's like, sir, you need to leave. And I said, he's throwing bottles at the cookie container or whatever. I don't know what's going on, but he said, call the manager. So I called you. Like in my mind, I'm thinking it's, time to tag out. The tag team. Let's go. Your turn. Your turn to deal with this weirdness. Like this is a two-way street. And I'm not alone here. Nah, not today. He want to attack me. He got to attack you too. That's how it goes. So the guy gets upset, as he already is, and even more unstable than he already was. And he's like, you need to call the police. Call the police now. Sir, you want us to call the police on you? Cause that's all they gonna come for. Cause all they gonna see are two workers trying to get an unruly, aggressive looking man out of their store. So I don't know who you thought was gonna help you, but calling the police wasn't gonna help you. So then he gets angry, storms towards the door, and knocks down everything. And I mean everything in sight. All the weird magazines we had on top of the garbage, all the advertisement that we had near the doorway, everything. And then pushes the door extremely open and then glares at us as he storms out. And I thought it was the creepiest, most uncomfortable thing ever. Mainly because of the fact that I live around here, so I was even more creeped out. So then my coworker calls the owner. The owner asked me if I'm okay. I said no because I was creeped out, but I will be eventually. He asked me if I wanted to go home. I said no, I only have a couple more hours for my shift. Let me just ride it out. So by the time my shift was over, I was creeped out and felt like sprinting home because in New York, when weird stuff like that happens, people usually wait for you outside of your job. Now, that's never happened to me, but I know it happens and how creepy it is to be walking home alone at night, especially in New York. So after seeing this mentally unstable character create a scene at my job and then glare at me like that'll be the last face I see before I die, I'm running home. I will be an Olympic sprinter. That day I was an Olympic sprinter. But it was weird because as I'm running home trying to cross the street, I heard a car stop. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this dude who lost his job, I guess he has a car. He's coming for me. I turned around real quick. I turned around faster than Sonic. My gosh, I turned around and it just turned out to be some college student getting out of the car to go work out in the building right next to me. So yeah, that was weird. After that, I sprinted home. I was like, nope, not today, not today. I got a real workout. I got a real workout. I got home faster than I normally do. I was like, nope, not today. We never really saw the guy again. In hindsight, because we had the cameras on, we got to watch the footage the next day. And my manager the owner was pretty proud. He's like, you weren't scared? I said, I was creeped the hell out. But what was I supposed to do? I'm not going to curse at the guy. You could tell something was wrong. It turned out as I was making his sandwich, he was biting the middle of his hand throughout the entire process. The only reason why I didn't notice was because I was doing my job making his sandwich. But yeah, weird stuff like that happened almost all the time. I'm just glad that, whenever, the store got robbed, because the store has been there for a long time. It's not there now. It's being I guess it shut down last month. But hopefully it'll be back in about a year and a half or so, because they're renovating that whole area. So, but it was really uncomfortable and startling, but I handled it as best I could. And I made sure that I, worked out before I got home. But that's the story I have for you guys today. Yeah. In hindsight, it was a pretty weird day, but lots of stuff like that happened. But that's the story I have for you guys today, and I hope it really made your day or improved your week or hopefully improved some part of your weekend to get you ready for Monday. Or not. And I'm sorry that I'm not your cup of tea. Try hot chocolate. It's life-changing, especially with cream. It'll change your horizon. I don't know what I'm doing. And I've lost my marbles a long time ago. So I really hope that I've improved some part of your day or even got you to chuckle. And that's what I'm here for. No, that's not. I'm here for myself. Me. I need hope. But until the next time at Chipmunks, rock it out. Bye.